Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new loot video for you all today. So today I bring you guys something a little different. This is going to be loot from 10 hours of protecting my Iron Man at the Chaos Temple. Now, what I'll be doing in this video is I will be logged in to my main as well as my Iron Man account, which you will see here shortly, and I will be training prayer on my Iron Man for 10 hours using the Chaos Temple. With such a low prayer level on my level 123 Iron Man, it is now time to get that up. And if I do happen to get attacked while I'm training prayer here, since it is 38 wilderness and it's also multi-combat inside of the temple, well, that is all right, because I will be logging into my main account at that very spot, attacking back anyone who tries to kill my Iron Man. My PKing gear setup is worth about 2.5 mil, so if I do happen to die, I will lose a decent amount of money, but I have a good feeling about this. Although I haven't PK'd in quite some time, I still remember the basics, so I'm gonna try my best with this one, and you know, just wish me luck. We have the Iron Man ready to go with the bones in the inventory, and you know, the first minute that I was here, I actually got attacked. Wasn't expecting to get attacked in the first 60 seconds by this guy, but as I kind of noticed right outside the door, I really had to pick and choose my locations to attack these guys, because it's 1v1 right outside the temple, and if my Iron Man was in combat with the person attacking him, then I would not be able to help on my main account. So it got a little tricky in the beginning, but I quickly learned where to stand and where to not stand. So the fight was on, our first PKer of the video. I know this is one of my longest videos ever, but that's just because this is truly a PKing hotspot and I encountered a lot of people in this video. So it started as 1, became 2, and I quickly realized that my Iron Man was dying, so I was trying to click on him at the same time as my main, and luckily I caught the log out while I was in the middle of this fight. So now we're in singles and it's 1v1, but I think this guy might have been on a second account because they are very similar usernames, this Black Mystic Eye and the Blue Mystic Eye. Going with the Tribrid setup here, I had Ice Barrage and Mystic as well as Dragon Crossbow and Dragonstone Bolt Z, hoping that my opponents don't have any anti-fire sips handy, and with my Armadour Godsword I felt pretty confident. Definitely kept that smite on, and I was just hoping for back-to-back combos, which did happen, and ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The very first kill in 5 minutes at the start. That was just crazy. I did not expect that. And with the smite being on and his prayer dropping at the end there right before he died, to my surprise, we actually got an Armadour Godsword PK. So what a start to the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. So I did start this 10 hour at around 4:50 in the morning, so I wasn't too sure how many PKers I was going to run into at such late hours. And I would say I spent about 5 hours onwards from this point doing this video, and then after that I took a 6-hour nap, and then I started around late daytime the next day. Now, one thing I had to do on my Iron Man, because of course he was going to die a lot during this video to kind of get a new fresh inventory of bones, was I did have to change my spawn location from Falador to Edgeville, and this did cost a hefty price of 5 million GP. But that's okay, because most of the 10-hour videos I do on this Iron Man account is just full of alchables, and I'll make that 5 mil back in no time at all. So I did have to switch to Ancient Spellbook, and I would just use 2 Law runes and I believe 8 Water runes to teleport to this area, and then I just run south and then start using my bones. Most of the time I would just bring 26 bones, but sometimes I would bring some noted. And after receiving 76 prayer, I did run into another PKer, and this time I accidentally killed my Iron Man using Ice Barrage, so I was off to chase this guy, him and his colored whip. Wouldn't really recommend PKing with a normal whip, it's all about the tentacle these days. But the fight was going pretty good. You know, most of the time I would run into people who had magic, but this guy just seemed to be going all 2011 on me with the black d'hide top and Av's accumulator, as well as rune plate legs and dragon boots. I'm not too sure if he had vengeance, I can't remember, but I'm sure he probably did because he wasn't on Ancients, and he already had a key, but then again, that's from my Iron Man, so I really wanted that back. So I got that back, and we were at the 30 line. I'm not sure if he didn't have a charged glory or not, but he decided to deathmatch me, and it worked in my favor. Another 331k to the loot tab. Moving on, just a few minutes after this one, I did run into a team of 2. I was a little late to the login there. They did actually kill my Iron Man, unfortunately, but these guys once again did not have any magic with them, so I was just doing doing a little 1 versus 1 action. As I mentioned before, if you just go a few steps south outside of the altar, you are in singles, and obviously I'm going to try to be in singles as much as possible if there is a team, although there's plenty of occasions where I unfortunately wasn't able to get to singles in time, which you'll see later on in the video. Now this last hit on this guy as he's running trying to teleport away, he almost got there, but the Dragonstone enchanted bolts are the reason he didn't. I mean, it's just crazy how high these things can hit. Just about 244k from that kill, and they did want a rematch, but I was alright. 1 hour and 20 minutes in, and this time we run into a level 90 who I was stunning with the Dragon Spear, so they stayed where I wanted them to, but they were running. Luckily, I got them before they got away, and I did 2-hit the Grinch. Not ruining my Christmas, you know, so we got a loot key. They were good spirit about it. They just laughed. I'd be laughing too. We're losing 100k, you know, it's not that big of a deal. I'm sure they make that back pretty quickly killing bone runners. And speaking of bones, there's 77 prayer on the Iron Man. We can now use augury, so I guess I gotta go do some chambers one of these days. I actually have over 100 chambers kill count on the Iron Man, so I'm no stranger to it. Now, here we are logging in to yet again another solo PKer. He's in black D-hide, Fremennik boot setup, and finally we run into a hybrid, or I guess you'd call this tribrid. You know, you're using magic, range, and melee, and my trusted Armadyl Godsword not really impressing me too much during this fight compared to the last one, but all of a sudden, you know, 1 became 3, and then I saw the infamous Dragon Spear that, you know, I was using during this video on me this time. So yeah, a little bit of a team situation here. Luckily, the numbers weren't too bad. You know, 3 is better than 30. So I made my way south, and I was trying to stay in, you know, a safe zone while I 1v1 one of these guys, and it ended up being the same guy that I originally was attacking. And things were looking up. Even had a prediction of 10 hours of killing bone runners, but no, I leave that to the other people. I'm just defending the bone runner being me on my Iron Man. That was a good fight. You know, these guys were real nice, so shout out to them. The key was okay, 282k. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more there because, you know, I am risking a decent amount of money, so if I die, these kills, other than the Armadyl Godsword, are not really going to make up for any death that I have. So, yeah, but he did actually have Phoenix necklaces, which I encountered quite a few times during this video. And there is 78 prayer on the Iron Man, getting closer and closer to 124 combat. From the hours of 7 to 8 a.m., it was very quiet until all of a sudden a spottier cape showed up, and I don't know what this person was doing, but with my help, the Iron Man did die, so now it was up to me to avenge the death. Yeah, you know, you occasionally will run into a PKer here who really doesn't have too much going for them. They don't want to risk too much because their goal is to strictly kill people running bones, but that's okay because this loot tab will be growing, and I don't mind some weird items going in that tab, such as the spottier cape, and my Iron Man was still getting some prayer XP, although I feel like I was killing him more than PKers were at this point. But that's just what you get when you use Ice Barrage. Later on in the video, I did try to Ice Blitz more often than not, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's alright. Usually when I would kill my Iron Man, he'd be out of the inventory anyway. I did scout this person while I was training prayer, and they were just walking around aimlessly. I don't know what they were doing, but you know, they could have been a threat to me while I was, you know, using my bones on that altar, so I had to take them down, and in my loot key, I did get 21k. And following that 21k key, I did receive 79 prayer. Like I mentioned before, sometimes I would bring noted bones, but it almost felt like every time I had noted bones, that's when a PKer would show up. I don't know what the odds are of that, but it just seemed like it. Maybe some of you can relate in the comment section below. Alright, so this next guy that I scouted was almost done killing my Iron Man when I finally got logged in, and he was risking a good amount. Luckily for me, he was a solo PKer, so I was much more confident in my abilities than him having a team, of course. And he had a really nice risk, a decent switcher. He had the Ancient Godsword as well as Serpentine and Infinity Boots, so I was really trying here because I wanted to get this key. I knew this was going to be over 5 mil at least if I somehow killed him. And it looks like towards the end there, he was just panicking a little bit, not too sure what was going on in his head, but I actually managed to get the kill, and I was very ecstatic about this one because I knew the loot was going to be big. And big it was. 9 million GP, ladies and gentlemen. The Tome of Fire, the crossbow, the staff, as well as the Serpentine helm. I guess the new trend is Black Mystic, you know? Where's all the Blue Mystic wares? I don't know. I always like to go with the Blue Mystic, you know, very nostalgic piece of robe sets there. But yeah, that really motivated me, and I figured I'd stop while I was ahead, so I did take that 6-hour nap nap. I don't know why I'm calling it a nap. I mean, that's pretty much like going to sleep, you know. So I did go to sleep, and I woke up the next afternoon, and here we are again, using that stun effect with the Dragon Spear on my Iron Man on Mr. Brutality here, you know, 2 Misters going to battle. And yeah, I really thought I had this one in the bag, but I got the entangle on me, and then I looked at my running energy, and yeah, I was not liking what I was seeing. He was below 30 HP, and I no doubt would have killed him had I just brought a stamina potion. So that was a very weird fight. I thought I had it in the bag. We actually ran quite a bit off video, and he ended up getting away, so you can't get them all, unfortunately. And just a few minutes after that, I did run into a solo Phoenix necklace wearing PKer with the ballista here, and the AGS almost took him down, but that necklace did save their life. And all of a sudden, a blue Mystic Hat PKer logs in, and he actually helped me. So, you know, I finished off the fight. I don't think I really needed his help there, and he did attack me afterwards, so maybe they weren't on the same team. He just might have misclicked, I'm not too sure, but I went after him right on after. I wanted that blue cape, you know. I've never seen anyone wear a blue cape. That's not a Ceradomin cape in the wild, so I wanted it. And yeah, he did help me, but then he ended up attacking me, so, you know, can't accept that. So we did get the kill, 2 keys instead of 1, and the first guy didn't really have too much, but luckily for me, the Mystic Hat guy did have about 478k, and I got a brand new cape, so I will take it. That was a good moment for me. After opening up these keys, it was a quiet 30 minutes, just getting some good prayer XP on the Iron Man. If you're curious how I was dying on my Iron Man, I would usually just go to Chaos Fanatic, just north of this location. As soon as I would die, I'd respawn in Edgeville and then just teleport back with some bones. So it was pretty quick, pretty efficient method. You can also do different things, but that's what I preferred. Now, for some reason, that Ballista PKer with the Phoenix necklace came back with the Phoenix necklace as well, and I took him down again. That's what you get for wearing a Phoenix necklace. I don't know why he tried again on me, but it's not gonna happen. Not this time, anyway. Shout out to the guy at the bank who used to love the videos. That hurts, man. That hurt. Anyway, 80 prayer coming in from the Iron Man account. Nice guy, was keeping up some conversation as well, and then I went and died by KBD this time. Just seemed like anywhere I go, people were, you know, saying things to me, so yeah, always nice to see the community. But anyway, here I am back at the altar, and I didn't really have a good feeling about this one. This guy was a good PKer, he was switching really good, such an intimidating username as well, and then 1 became 5, and 5 became 10. Oh man, yeah, I didn't think I was getting out of this one, but as soon as I opened up that door, I had a glimpse of hope, but then I realized that they closed the door and I was frozen, and you know, I was in trouble. And now that I'm watching back this clip, I actually realized there was some ballista guy who was trying to help me out, and I guess he probably died. So yeah, thanks to that guy. That was my first death, 2.5 mil gone, so that kind of sucked, but oh well, it was a clan. I don't feel too bad about dying to that. And here we have a snakeskin bandit. I don't know what this person was doing, but I smited them down. Anytime I'm in a fight that I'm not taking too seriously, you will see me use smash on the Armado God Sword. That's kind of my way of saying, all right, I'm just hanging out here. Either way, though, I did receive 81 prayer on the Iron Man account while I was watching these 3 guys fight on my main south. This one itemer started attacking me while I got my prayer level, so I couldn't have that. Ran back up north and took care of business with the assistance of my Iron Man, so that was nice, and that guy left me alone from then on out. Returning down south, I did run into the same 2 guys out of 3 that were fighting before, and I was trying my best in this fight. This guy was definitely getting the better of me. As you can see, we have some live commentary to the west there. That's okay, though. He kind of made me laugh during the fight, so I was just trying my best. I was really getting lucky here, and I didn't really have too many supplies left, but luckily, I always had that last special attack in my pocket, and I pulled it out at the very last second, so that was incredible, and I was very happy to get this kill. 1.8 million GP from this bank key here. You gotta love the dragon crossbow, and that was pretty cool to see a granite shield. I haven't seen that in a while. Either way, moving on to our next victim, we do have another ballista PKer, this time going by the name of Roland Jays. Him and his Darkbow squad, they came in a little late there. I don't blame them. You know, recently last week it's been taking so long to log into Worlds. But hey, that just benefited me, so another 250k to the bank tab. So I think what happened in this clip was my Iron Man had logged out as this guy was coming up, or maybe my Iron Man had just died. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't look like he has a loot key on him. So I was trying my best in this fight, and that person that you see there talking was someone who escaped me, but you'll see that at the end of the video in the bloopers section. It was a long fight, and they weren't even risking that much. But yeah, they did show up as well as another guy, and I was just continuing to kill this guy. Now, this guy was able to teleport because we were in 30 wild, but for some reason he didn't, so I actually did get the kill. It was a pretty extended fight, but it did go in my favor, and ladies and gentlemen, the Uncharged Glory explains why he did not teleport, and that resulted in another Armadillo Godsword PK. Granted, it was 31 wild, I just double checked, but I think he wasn't frozen. I have no idea why he didn't protect item. He clearly still had a little bit of prayer left, but yeah, just another Armadillo Godsword for me, which was incredible. So after I unleashed my claw spec on this guy, I just logged out, which it's a first for me, but yeah, I didn't think I had that fight, so I figured I'd leave. But anyway, that did get me 82 prayer on the Iron Man account. Yet again, another one-itemer coming to town here. I don't know what this guy was trying to do, but I will take his DDS, at least I'll try to. He has a glory as well, and he was trying to escape, but he had nowhere to go, especially when you're not wearing anything. You just gotta admit defeat at that point, but, you know, anyway, moving on from that, we did run into, yet again, another one-itemer. Sadly, they did kill my Iron Man before I got them to die, so that's okay. Yeah, it was a good sacrifice, but yeah, quite a few one-itemers doing some things out here. I'm not too sure why, but maybe it is profitable. I've personally never tried. So I did hop a couple worlds because it was quiet for a while I was training prayer on the Iron Man, and it did surprise this guy. Now You See Me was his username, so I logged out on my Iron, and he had a Staff of the Dead and Golden Mystic this time. I like to see a variety of colors finally. And yeah, we were having a pretty good fight. I thought that this one would last a while. You know, sometimes I just smite in fights if I'm doing well, and then if they're doing really well, I'll just start using overhead prayers. Most people at this level do that, but this time I brought the Dragon Claws. I was switching it up from the Armadillo Godsword, and he did recognize me, but it was just too late at that time. And yeah, we did get the kill. This was my first kill, or second kill with Dragon Claws, so that was pretty nice, and it did result in a 500k loot key. Looks like he killed someone with superior bones as well. Alright, so a lot going on in this next clip here. They had just killed my Iron Man. There's a team of 2 guys that I could attack, and then there's just one pure at the door who was trying to tell me that, hey, it's Nate, bro, leave me alone. Well, I guess you shouldn't have killed my Iron Man then, Nate. So, you know, I wasn't going to leave him alone. So it was 2 versus 1. I was trying my very best to kill this guy with the Staff of the Dead. And then all of a sudden, another guy showed up with a Fury, and he was on me too. So it was 3 versus 1. And then this guy out of nowhere logged in and saved the day. Big shout out to Eternal. With his help, we did finally kill the Staff of the Dead guy, and then he continued to help me, and we took down this burning necklace wearing guy. And you know, I don't know, that was just a really weird moment for me, but I was so thankful to have some help finally. 1 versus 3 is just rough, you know. So this guy had a pretty good risk. I mean, he had a Godsword and a Fury, and we had already killed the first 2. So once I killed him, I just logged out because I didn't really know if that guy was going to attack me after. I didn't know him, so I didn't want to risk all the keys I had. Had I not logged out, I might have gotten that Fury PK, or maybe that guy was going to get it regardless because he had done so much damage. Either way though, I was rewarded for my efforts, and I did make about 1 mil total from 3 keys, and the highlight of that was the occult necklace. So yeah, I don't know, it was a really weird situation, but I'm glad everything worked out at the end there. Now this next clip is just an example of don't get greedy. I luckily, after a very long fight with this guy, got the kill, and he was the telly blocker, and I really thought that I could kill the other guy too, because I was going to get my special attack back in time, but unfortunately you know, that was not the case. So yeah, I did lose this amazing loot key. I did ask the guy, how much was your partner's key? It was about 2.5 mil, and he did confirm it was 2.5 mil that I could have had. But that's okay, kind of taught me a lesson, you know, don't get too greedy when you're in a 2 versus 1 fight. Just, you know, get away while you're ahead. So either way though, my Iron Man did survive that, because once I logged in, they just left him alone. And that's honestly what happened most of the time with my Iron Man. He really did either help out a lot in the fights or just escape escape as quickly as he could, or he would take the sacrifice. So, you know, it just depends on who was attacking me and what was going on at the time. But this next guy was trying his best to kill my Iron Man, and then I did end up getting the kill on him with another huge Armadyl Godsword special attack. Good thing about using an AGS is that you can always use it as a, you know, a pretty good weapon in the middle of a fight, even if you don't have spec. But if you bring Dragon Claws, you really can't do that because you're just kind of stuck with only being able to use them for their special attack. A nice little 475k key came from that guy, and following that was 83 prayer on the Iron Man, going from 75 to 83 prayer and obtaining 124 combat. So we were getting a lot done on that account despite only really seeing a lot of fights here. And now it is time for the main event. You know, I'm no Mark Henry, but this was just insane. This guy's risk and the fact that he was not really safing at all. He was specking me when I had my overhead prayer on. My AGS flopped twice in a row, and this guy was risking well over 20 mil, not to mention a Clockwork Cat. So, I mean, I was just fuming at this point. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you can relate who are PKers. You know, you get so many close calls on a guy that you really wish you could just kill, and I wanted to highlight and showcase all of the close calls during this fight with this guy, simply because this was my first time using the 2K total world. The whole video, I would just hop around occasionally if it was quiet for like 10 or 20 minutes, and I would just use normal worlds. But this was the first time, I think this was world 361, and I ran into this guy. I had a feeling that there might be someone who's not as good risking a ton of money, and they would use 2K worlds, and I was right. But unfortunately, they did get the better of me, and they did kill me. I would have fought till the end on that guy numerous times. We had 2 fights, and the risk was just so heavy, so I would have kept going, but unfortunately, we did not get that kill. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the very last guy in this video to disturb my Iron Man while he was training prayer, and I did get the kill this time. I think he was prioritizing protect item more than eating, and with less than a minute to go, I figured I'd just end while I was ahead. So overall recap, the last key was 563k, my Iron Man got 75 to 83 prayer, and my main got 32 kills total. So let's go ahead and look at the Rune Light loot tracker. Here we have a lovely total of 34.7 mil, 2 Armadyl Godswords, 2 Dragon Crossbows, a lot of other good uniques in there. Surprisingly, not many bones, but I was not killing bone runners, so I guess that explains it. But yeah, just kind of scrolling down, these are all of the people that I did kill during this video. Overall total of 35 mil PK'd, 4 deaths, so probably a loss of about 9 to 10 mil there. But overall profit from 10 hours of protecting my Iron Man is 26 mil, and my Iron Man did get 8 prayer levels. So I don't think there's any better way to train prayer these days. I ended up using all of my dragon bones, all of my wyvern bones, and you know, just looking at this amazing loot tab here shortly, it really did pay off. This was a lot of fun. This was by far my longest 10-hour video yet as it goes for video length, and this was the most entertaining 10-hour video that I've done as well, simply because of the variety of people that I ran into. You know, my girlfriend actually came up with this idea because I was complaining about how low my prayer level was on my Iron Man and how I missed PKing in the wild. So she gave me this idea, you know, why don't you just protect your Iron Man while he's training prayer, and anyone you run into, just try to kill. So that's exactly what I did, and it just worked out amazingly. Now what you guys are seeing on screen is just a little bit of bloopers here. Some people that I would get into a fight with, I would just know right away, there is no way I can kill this person, so I would try my best to escape, and luckily I did escape from that guy. Other times I would fight people, and honestly, they would just get the better of me. Whether it would be from hitting high or just being a better clicker, you never know what can happen when you're in a fight with someone. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys the blooper section. I wanted to save it towards the end because I know most people probably click out around this time anyway, so I didn't want to waste your time in the beginning or in the middle of the video. So yeah, I would just show some people escaping me, teleporting, etc. And of course, the inevitable deaths. You know, it's no fun to die, especially when you're making a loot video and it's all dependent on profit. You know, as soon as you die, you lose 2.5 mil. That doesn't look too good for the price check. So I wanted to show you guys though that the wilderness, as good as it was in most of this video, it's still deadly, and you can still definitely die if you're not careful. So maybe that's why I ran into so many people wearing Phoenix necklaces, and also people who would outrun me. You know, always got to bring a stamina potion with you during these situations. So it is what it is though. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was a lot of fun to make this one. If you guys have any ideas related to the Wilderness or specifically using both of my accounts, please don't hesitate. Leave a comment below. I read every single comment. I know I don't respond to many at all, but I really do read them all. I mean, it's only like 200 a video. It's very easy for me to just kind of browse that. And if you guys have any suggestions, I would really appreciate it. But other than that, you guys all wanted it. 10 hours of Barrows. I've never seen such a high demand for something before. So guess what you're seeing tomorrow night? You know, so with all that being said, thank you very much for your time today. 25 minutes of content, day one of Don't Sleep December, and we're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, Mr. No Sleep out.